Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So it's official, a ceasefire and hostage deal between Israel and Hamas has been reached in the war in Gaza, and this is something that has been going on for a while. They've tried to get it done, and it's odd that it comes at a time where it's just a few days before Donald Trump is going to take office. And it does seem as if, although Biden is technically the president, he also claims that his team and Trump's team, they've been speaking as one team getting this done. So you have Trump not even taking office yet, and already this deal, which has been talked about for years, is officially, going to be done. And a lot of hostages are going to be released on the 19th of January, it seems, as of now. And a lot of people will say, well, Trump's not the president. But even then, you can see that they've been speaking as one team. Even the current administration can admit that. But on top of that, Donald Trump said there will be hell to pay unless the hostages are freed before the inauguration. Some people will say this isn't like the best deal. They can critique the deal. But either way, he threatened hell to pay if these people would not release the hostages. And now it seems like they are releasing a large number of the hostages before the inauguration because they're afraid of Donald Trump. And what does this show you? It shows that Donald Trump is determined to go out there and actually deliver for the American people in terms of keeping his promises. He made a lot of promises, from ending the wars in the Middle East and Eastern Europe to mass deportations, to ending the border crisis, to reviving the American dream, making the economy great again, and making sure that we can, lower the cost of goods and raise wages and take-home pay for everyday Americans. And if he goes out there and does it, because it seems like already he's doing some things and he hasn't even taken office yet. So already out of the gate, you see some positive developments. Donald Trump gets to stack victories, and that brings us to 2028, which is a long ways away. But let's say that Donald Trump goes out there, he fulfills all of his campaign promises, and he maintains a decent approval rating as a result because his agenda, it is popular. People used to say, well, Trump's policies aren't popular. Well, now they are. He ran a campaign that was unapologetic. He ran a campaign that was authentic. He said mass deportations. He said that he's going to do everything possible to revive the American dream, make sure that we can start making things in America once again. And it's a popular agenda. Whether people want to admit it or not, it's true. And if he delivers, the Democrats once again are going to have nothing to run on, especially against Donald Trump's virtually hand-picked successor in J.D. Vance, who is likely to be the nominee come 2028. And that assumes that he delivers. He will clearly have proved himself to the Republican primary electorate by then if Donald Trump is delivering. So out of the gate, I think that we could start filling out this map because it does seem as if Vance would be very likely to just take all the states that Donald Trump took by more than 10 points. And this will be viewed as a third Trump term, a second consecutive Trump term. You could throw Maine's 2nd district on there as well, and the state of Alaska. So out of the gate, 219. That was like the floor for Donald Trump, it seemed like, before the swing states, but margin-wise. Like, that's in the safe column, the states that are going to be going Republican by 10 points or more. Texas, Democrats hope by 2028. Now they're hoping it doesn't even get worse for them in the state of Texas. So, Democrats, they'll get the western seaboard. California might get closer, but again, it's not ready to flip. Same thing with Hawaii and some of the states on the eastern seaboard as well will be going in the safe Democrat column, most likely. But still, like Massachusetts, we saw get closer because of certain ethnic whites moving to the right in certain parts of the state. But that's pretty much it for the Democrats in the safe column. You're only talking about 116 electoral votes. Maybe Colorado you could throw in there just because it is moved to the left. You have a lot of people that have moved from California to Colorado, very liberal. If you followed the channel for years, I've talked about it quite a bit when we fill out these maps. But let's move on to some of these other states. We'll do the likely Republican states. I think Arizona It'll stay in that column. And also Nevada, just because of the trends, the party registration, if Trump is popular, there's really no reason for me to say that those states are not going to be getting a little bit redder. And that's that. Also, I think that that's it for that designation. But on the Democrat side, Illinois will get closer. New York will get closer. I think Rhode Island can get closer. And you'll see that happen. Those states will be in the likely Democrat column. But then we get into the lean Republican states, and I think you could make a case for the entire Rust Belt just because, they vote as a bloc. It does seem like Vance, he has this like Midwestern appeal. And if Donald Trump's policies are popular and he's delivering for the American people, he goes out there, he fulfills his promises, he does mass deportations. He makes sure that the cost of everyday goods gets lowered. He drills, he gets more oil in production, lowering the costs across the board because it all really goes through energy. Maybe he gets Greenland. I mean, it's more popular than some people would think, but he's going for it for a reason. But I think the Rust Belt, North Carolina, you could make a case for as well, being in the lean Republican column, just because it's not really all that elastic. Maybe you could have it push likely in a very good year. But as of right now, I think lean is a fine designation. It's always usually lean Republican, very little variation, maybe tilt on a bad year, maybe likely in a very good year, but it does seem as if it's harder to push it up to likely because the state has changed from what it was back in like 2004, especially if we're talking 4 years from now, 2028, you name it. But out of the gate, you look at these states, Vance is already at 296. And in terms of the tilt states, we could fill those out. I think that Maine at large would stay with said generic Democrat. I don't know who it's going to be, but I think, New Hampshire would flip. I really believe that New Hampshire will flip. Democrats have a weak bench. If Trump is fulfilling his promises, has a decent approval rating, what are you talking about, like 20,000 not even votes that would have to flip? Obviously turnout will play a role in that, but still, I could see New Hampshire. I could see New Jersey. I mean, New Jersey was insane. It zoomed to the right. It zoomed right by like 11, 12 percentage points. It voted the same way Arizona voted. I mean, if you said that to somebody a few months ago, like in October, they would have laughed at you, and I probably would have been laughing a little bit or saying it's a bad take, but that's exactly what happened. I thought maybe it could have been like, 9, maybe Arizona goes red by like 3 or 4, but to see New Jersey vote like the exact margin, but the opposite of Arizona was absolutely insane. I still think Virginia, because of some of the suburbs in the Norfolk area, combined with the fact that I don't know how much more room there is to grow in Nova. It's possible if Donald Trump cuts a lot of these government agencies, you have people moving out. If he's able to go do that, then maybe Virginia could get redder. Still, I would probably err on the side of caution and say that, maybe it gets redder, but it's not really in a position to flip. Then you have Georgia, which is getting bluer and bluer in certain parts. Donald Trump was able to rebound, but how much really room is there to grow in rural Georgia when you have certain suburbs of, South Atlanta? They're growing fast. They're moving to the left. It's not like people are changing their votes, but it's because you have more people moving in, mainly liberals, mainly, millennials and black voters, typically with a college degree, in some of those southern Atlanta suburbs. So either way, I think that Georgia, it'll stay red in this case, but I think either way, it's going to be really close, like under 2%, even on a good night for Vance. And I think New Mexico and Minnesota would both be going in the Republican column, just because you talk about a small number of votes you'd need to flip. If Donald Trump is fulfilling his promises, I think he can go out there, or I guess Vance would go out there, probably be campaigning with Donald Trump, and in turn win those states. And then the last state remaining, or the last designation remaining, it's not a state, it's a district, but it is one electoral vote, is Nebraska's 2nd district, which has been moving to the left, although Trump rebounded there. But again, it could be a Trump-specific problem. It's really uncertain how that's going to pan out to somebody like a J.D. Vance. I think he could go out there and win it if Donald Trump is popular. I was shocked that Trump gained a few points compared to 2020 in that district because of the way it's been moving, but maybe we overestimated its Democrat shift. But either way, this is the map if Donald Trump fulfills his promises. You could be talking about a red renaissance, so to speak, where you have Vance win he wins comfortably. The Democrats are in further disarray. The 2030s are just going to be even more of a disaster for the Democrats to deal with. And then on top of that, you have, I don't know, past that point, what you'd even need to do. So long as you actually have competent leadership, you can focus on making the Republican Party more competent, improving the brand so they do well with a lot of these voters that will be willing to show up on off-year elections. That's what we're talking about the future looking like. But it's very important that Donald Trump goes out there, has a good 4 years, fulfills his promises, and already he's fulfilling some of them. So there's a lot to be hopeful for. Usually you got to be realistic. I don't think every single thing he said in the campaign trail he's going to be feasibly able to do, but if he can do the lion's share of it, the things that people care about, that would be absolutely massive for the future of our country, as well as the 2028 election prospects for somebody like a J.D. Vance. So anyways, guys, make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.